So here we are, another beautiful night in northeast Pennsylvania, Hazleton, enjoying some nice weather. Nice, a little more comfortable, not as humid or anything tonight.
Much cooler. Nice.
Much cooler.
Yeah.
It's really nice. We're going to smoke the Onyx Gold, Nicaraguan cigar. Don't know much about it. It just came out, I guess, a few weeks ago?
A couple weeks ago, yep.
Now, I remember smoking Onyx back, in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it was always the cigar because it was so dark. And it would scare me and scare a lot of people, thinking it was going to be too overpowering and too strong. But then come to learn, it's a Connecticut wrapper.
Yeah. And
Right?
it's actually a very mild cigar.
Yeah, mild, medium.
But that appearance really it makes you think about it.
It is. But I always liked it because it always looked so good. But it's scary until I found out the wrapper was grown in Connecticut. And it's just the aging that turns it so dark and black. But it's really a pretty mild cigar.
Yeah, so the original Onyx has the Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, whereas this Onyx Bold, this has one of my favorite personal preference wrappers, which is the San Andres wrapper. So the Bold is, as its name states, is going to be a little fuller, medium plus. I've smoked one or two of these already. Very nice, well-balanced cigar. Dominican, Nicaraguan filler.
So did you feel it was stronger than the regular Onyx?
Yeah. Not a lot. I don't think it was. It's not an overpowering smoke. I mean, not by any means.
Yeah, you could taste the strength. I could anyway.
The difference was in the wrapper. Yeah. The flavor in the wrapper is what stood out to me.
So is that a similar wrapper that's on the Romeo San Andreas?
Yep.
Right? Wonder if it's the exact same wrapper or something similar breed. That's what always fascinates me. And they put different wrappers on different brands of cigars.
So I'm sure the aging will play into different flavor profiles, but I mean, appearance-wise, it looks very, very similar wrapper to the Romeo San Andres.
Yeah, definitely a little spicier starting out here. We'll see how that mellows out a little bit to go with that.
Yeah, I mean, both that I've smoked so far, construction has been fantastic. The burn has been really good. Nice start to this one here.
To me, sometimes that's the most important thing is cigar you don't have to fight with, that it draws nice, it smokes nice. It may not be exactly in your flavor and taste profile, but if you could smoke it and draw on it and not have to keep relighting it or anything, you could still smoke. You may not go back to it a lot, but at least
I mean, right out of the gate, if you don't have a cigar that's going to draw nice and you get a nice nice pull on it, you're probably not going to even get into the second or third of the cigar where it starts to get more complex. That's where you get your little flavor changes, the more nuances in the tobacco, just because of the way that the cigars are hand rolled. Yeah. So you're not even really going to give it a chance.
That's what I get. I think when you got to keep relying, that's when I think start sucking in too much of the nicotine. Start getting sitting on your stomach and
that's what's going to happen. What's going to happen is it's not going to burn properly, and when your wrapper, binder, filler is not all working together, you're going to get a tar buildup.
Yeah,
and that's when you start to get a bitter taste in the cigar. You're going to get a little bitter taste.
Yeah, and you're going to get that once in a while because it's a totally handmade product, but just so it's not all the time. I mean, I've had that on some of my cigars that I smoke daily, and every once in a while, out of a box,
well, that can also happen just from smoking it too fast.
I'm a fast smoker. Sometimes.
When you smoke them too fast, they're not meant to be smoked like that.
Yeah, sometimes I got to find myself to slow down.
Yeah, sometimes you get away with it. Sometimes you get away with it. Sometimes you don't.
Depends. Like tonight, how the poker game's going to go.
Well, I can tell you, if it goes any way like the last one did, I'm not playing at your table.
Right.
Every time I had a good hand, really good hand. Yeah, so I kept going. He raised, I kept going, and then his hand was just always a little bit better than mine.
Sometimes it works that way.
I'm going to ask him what he has before I throw in my chips next time. See if he'll tell me.
Yeah.
Getting back to the Connecticut broadleaf wrapper reminds me a few years ago where Altadis USA took the two of us on a trip to Connecticut to view the farms.
I believe it was Enfield, right?
Yeah. They took us to take a look at the at the farms where they actually grow the broadleaf wrapper for
For
the
a lot of
product
their
that they use.
cigars.
Yeah,
Not as much anymore. I believe from what they told us in Connecticut, there used to be a lot more
oh yeah,
tobacco fields up there for wrapper and all. But I guess over the years, the real estate become more valuable as housing or whatever else it might be.
yeah,
Because I believe at one time, like Macanudo wrappers, and that was all grown
yeah,
in Connecticut, right? I think
Yeah.
they're even based.
yeah.
General Cigar at one time was even based somewhere in Connecticut anyway.
What was
I don't remember
fascinating
where.
about it is we've been to Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, Honduras many, many times, and to see the same operations, that are in Central America that are in Connecticut.
Right.
I mean, it was almost like we weren't in the United States.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see.
The only thing they didn't have there is the factories where they actually roll the cigars.
Right.
They just had the curing barns and that, and then I guess they would just ship it to the Dominican or
Pack it up.
Nicaragua or wherever the cigars were going to be rolled at, made with that.
Yeah, but it was a good experience.
Mhm.
Good experience to see. A lot of the tobacco that they were growing there, they actually stock cut. So they pass out machetes to everybody there. We got an opportunity to go to and stock cut a couple plants that were ready for harvest.
Yeah, that was the one cigar that really wasn't in my profile, was the Henry Clay stock cut.
Yeah,
That was just a little too bitey, too
Yeah.
strong, too something. I don't know what, but it was
yeah,
it was just not my taste. But just like the Intensos aren't either, and I know a lot of the guys that I'm here that we hang out with, that's their daily smoke.
can't keep them in stock. I
And-
mean, that
but
they
I mean, they
fly
just-
out of here.
But
Yeah,
that's just not a little spicy, a
they're
little
they're
bitey.
they're both a very similar cigar, where
Mm-hmm.
it's a little bit fuller and it's got that little black pepper taste to it, and that's kind of what I like in a cigar. I like a little fuller, a little stronger
Yeah.
cigar. Last week we both smoked Perdomo 10th anniversaries, where I
Yeah,
had the
the
sun
Maduro.
grown.
I enjoyed the Maduro.
Yeah, both very good, but I think this is right along the lines of the strength and the flavor profile. Not too much stronger.
Yeah.
Very nice, enjoyable
To me,
cigar.
though, it is a little bit stronger.
Yeah.
Than the Maduro I smoke. And this is a little stronger and all than the most of the cigars I smoke, whether it's the
Well, smoke two before the poker game.
whether it's a Fuente or my Butero. You know what else I just smoked? And I go to them every once in a while, but they're not always available. And I don't know if I'm saying the name correctly. Por La Riñona. That's an old-time brand, but I really enjoyed them. My box of Turos that I bought the other day. But that's a real nice,
Yeah,
mild,
what did you
medium,
think? It was good?
great cigar. I thought it was a great, burned perfect,
Really?
right down. It was really nice cigar. Nothing overpowering. Like some you could smoke in the morning, early afternoon, but really nice, burned perfect. But if I remember when we first opened our stores in the 90s, that cigar we couldn't buy because that was only sold to members of the TAA organization. That was their private label cigar. And then whatever happened over the years, then it became available to everyone. Then I think it even went away. They didn't even make it for
For
years.
a while, yeah.
And now it's back. But that's really a nice cigar. I mean, decent price on them. I think they were, I don't know, $7-8 a stick or something
Yeah.
for a Toro. So,
Now, that's something that,
really nice.
for me, when I go into a shop and I take a look at the selection, that's probably not a cigar I'm going to select because of the light wrapper. Even though I do, I'm going to smoke this one later. I enjoy the Romeo and Juliet in Nicaragua. It's a light wrapper, but I tend to go for the darker wrappers,
But but being
which
a
is
light
probably
wrapper,
not always right.
Yeah, but being that at a light wrapper and similar to the Butera, which is really mild. Buteras are really, I mean, even sometimes for me, if I smoke it, I don't get enough out of it. It's too mild. But even a similar wrapper, but it had a lot more flavor. And I wouldn't say strength, but it had a lot of flavor in it for being that light wrapper like that.
Yeah.
But I really
Yeah.
enjoyed that. And that's like what I do, like when I go in other stores, out of our area, if we're traveling or I'm out of the area, I always make a point to check out other shops and everything. But I'll never buy something that we carry. I always
Try something different.
try something different because there's so many great cigars out there to be
Yeah.
smoking. And we were having this conversation a couple of weeks ago with a couple of guys, and I said, you got to realize, I remember back 90s, 2000s, cigars were selling for more than they are now, and the quality was nowhere near what it is. Such a great time to be smoking cigars. The quality
Oh,
is
yeah.
excellent. The prices are reasonable.
More than reasonable.
Reasonable compared.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, in 2000s we were selling cigars that had no quality for $15 a stick, and the quality was nowhere near what we got today for 10
Yeah.
or 9.
Oh, yeah. No.
And the different brands and flavor profiles and everything. And I like when these companies come out with, a special edition, not but just like a one and done, like some of the, like for the TAA or a certain blend, and they just make it once because they only have enough wrapper or filler or something that they want to make. I love to have them, to try them every once in a while.
Yeah, which brings up a good point. Right now in the cigar industry, it's a difficult time with everything going on, trying to get product right now. There's a lot of delays for whatever reason. But what I'm finding out is those TAA exclusive blends, which were supposed to be out, just about every manufacturer that produced an exclusive has pushed that off
Oh, really?
into the fall. Yeah, because
They usually come out around now.
they usually do, but it's
Some.
it's minimum production for them, because there's 70, 75 accounts. So what they're producing for those accounts, they pretty much take the order, then produce enough of it to get the order shipped,
Right.
and it's a one and done.
Yeah.
But with them trying to play catch up, most of the issues going on right now is the workforce is if not 50%, it's 75% less of what it should be. So for them, they're trying to get caught up on their major everyday brands.
And I think some of it's logistics and the shipping and
Combination of everything
going on.
Yeah.
With that, but still the quality and the availability of cigars now are by far the best I've ever seen them.
Which we
in
did
the last
have
5 years.
We did have a Port Lauderdale TAA a few years ago.
Maybe.
So for that to start with that years ago, to be that exclusive, and then to bring it back.
Yeah.
Cyclical.
Really
Everything kind of goes in circles, right?
Well, you know what?
I mean,
it just keeps
comes
it that way.
around.
Something, the good quality cigar, and just keep making and doing doing what you do. And it's funny, you talk to some guys, and I shouldn't say that because I'm kind of like that. I only smoke 5 or 6 different cigars. Once in a while, I'll try something new, but I have my 5 or 6, which used to be 2 or 3, but now I'm up to 5 or 6 different ones that I'll rotate on a weekly basis. But there's still some guy that I was talking to the other night. One cigar. You don't want to hear nothing.
That's what they
Don't
smoke,
care.
and that's it.
Don't care what you got, what's new, what's not new. I don't care if it's buy one, get 10 free. No, I'm just smoking that.
You give it away for nothing.
Nope. He
Won't
knows
do
what
it.
he likes, and
Yeah.
he ain't changing it.
I mean, and that's how it was 20 years ago. You knew exactly what your customers were buying, and they were buying that same box day in and day
Yep.
out, and
Yep.
they weren't straying from it. They
Nope.
wouldn't even look at another brand in the humidor. They knew what they were like, what they wanted to smoke, and they weren't changing.
Yeah.
Now it's guys, your box customers, they're always buying different boxes. They'll go back to the couple of, but they want to see what's new, what's different. I mean, there's a lot of great
Right.
cigars in the industry, like you said earlier. And I mean, you can't.
Let me ask you this: how many cigars do you smoke before you say, "Yeah, it's good" or "It's not good"? Or if you smoke the first one's bad, you got to give it at least 2 or 3 times, right?
At least
Because
3.
you may have got wasn't the time.
Well, atmosphere,
to smoke
the
it.
mood you're in,
Yeah.
what you ate that day
Did
may
you
or
just
may
smoke
not
one?
have contributed to it. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'll smoke a handful. I'll smoke at least 3.
Mm-hmm.
And
then you say,
then even if it's not something I don't think is for me, a couple months later down the road,
mm-hmm.
you see somebody smoking that cigar that day in and day out, and you're like, man, I didn't really care for that, but he does.
He likes it.
And then I'm like, maybe it's me. Let me try
Yeah.
it again. See what's going on. But
Yeah. No, but this is burning real nice. Halfway through, perfect burn.
yeah, I mean, compared to the original Onyx, I could definitely tell the difference with the wrapper and the fullness, and even with the strength. Even though I don't think it's a lot, it's definitely noticeable.
Yeah.
For my palate anyway, because I could tell you if a cigar is mild more so than if it's strong, because I like strong, and that's the norm for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because you already smoked. You said, "Oh, that was mild, medium," and I smoked it, and was too strong for me with that. And that's like, you know, you get like, for example, like a lot of people take like Opus for being a real powerful cigar, but not every Opus I smoked I thought were
No.
overpowering. Yeah, some of them were. Some of them had some nice strength to them,
Yeah.
but not that they were. And then I got some that that's not.
I wouldn't characterize that generally as a strong cigar.
No?
I don't.
Powerful.
And
I mean,
again,
they're
for me,
supposed- yeah,
you know, there's like a Jaime Garcia is probably one of the most full, spicy, stronger cigars out there. Like I could tell smoking that one versus I think that one's stronger than an Opus X,
wow.
the Jaime Garcia,
Yeah.
for sure. And that's a cigar I really like, and I don't smoke it that often anymore. So I'm gonna have to revisit
Right.
that.
Well, like to me, the strongest cigar that I think this line, most of their stuff is the LFDs. To me, they got some strength and power behind them. I'll smoke once in a while, not all the time, but like the TAA or the Cameroon.
That's a
I
nice
could
cigar.
smoke the Cameroon because it might mellows it out a little bit, but
That's a
that
nice cigar.
double Lajero and nah, I can't do the
That lets you
double
know
Lajero.
who's boss.
No,
I don't know. You don't have a story about that, do you?
no,
The Florida Dominican.
not for this time. Yeah, but I do have a story. Yeah, not today.
That's like, I don't know, how 17, 18 years ago, we would get together. We would go down to Shenanigans downtown Hazleton. We'd all, every Monday night get
football.
together, go watch Monday Night Football.
Or that
You know.
burgers or something,
And I'm just starting to get into smoking cigars, and I'm smoking an Añejo Shark. And I'm thinking, man, I'm going to have trouble driving home, you know, and it's not going to be because of the beer. It's going to be because of the shark. How am I going to tell the police officer, sir? You know,
it's the cigar.
I just smoked a shark.
Yeah.
For sure, I'll be in the back of the police car
And
in
now
no
you
time.
smoke them like they're nothing.
They're
when they
mild.
come
It's
out, right?
yeah, it's great.
They come out. But that's our thoughts for today on these cigars and just cigars in general. And enjoy whatever you're smoking, long as you like it. It's all that counts. And enjoy the nice weather. And hope to see y'all soon.
Thank you, guys.